Hello everyone. We'll try to solve a logical reasoning set in this question, and it will also involve some concepts related to averages. The question is 10 girls whose code names were the first 10 letters of the English alphabet respectively sat around a circular table to play a game called Guess My Number. Each girl had a secret number in her mind and whispered it to both her neighbors. Then each girl announced a number that was the average of the two numbers whispered in her ears by her neighbors. So basically we have 10 girls and their code names are being represented by first 10 letters of the English alphabet. That means their names will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. They are sitting around a circular table and they are playing a game called Guess My Number. Now each girl is having a secret number in her mind and she is telling that secret numbers to both her neighbors. So that means if we have A as a girl, she will be telling the secret number in her mind to her neighbors. Then after that, each girl announced a number that was the average of the two numbers whispered in her ears by her neighbors. Now every girl is also telling a number or announcing a number which is the average of the two numbers that has been whispered into her ears by her neighbors. So that means if A is telling a number, then the number told by A will be average of the numbers told to A by her neighbors. So whatever number A will be telling, that will be the average of the numbers which were told to her by her neighbors. So I hope this much is clear. Now reading further, the line graph given below shows the number announced by each girl and the table given below lists the two neighbors of each girl. So we have this graph over here. So A will be announcing 1 as her secret number, B is announcing 2 as the secret number, then C is announcing 7 as the secret number, and similarly at last we have J who will announce 3 as the secret number. Then the table is giving us the neighbors of each and every girl. So A has neighbors B and F, B has neighbors A and J, similarly for rest of the people. So I hope the situation is clear to you. Now let us read the question so that we know how to proceed to solve the questions. First one is, what was the sum of the secret numbers of all the 10 girls? So basically we have to add the values of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Second one is, what was the secret number of C? So we'll have to find out the secret number of C over here. Third one is, how many girls had negative secret numbers? So after we calculate the value of the number announced by each and every girl, we'll be counting the number of secret numbers. That will be the answer to this question. Fourth one is, what is the sum of the secret number of D and H? So for this also we need to find out the secret number of D and H. Then only we can answer this question. So let us go to the next slide. We'll be using the clues that were given to us. We'll be making use of the table, of this bar graph as well, and also of the line graph that has been given to us. So let's go to the next slide and try to solve the first question. So we were given that each girl had a secret number in her mind and whispered it to both her neighbors. Then the girl announced a number that was the average of the two numbers whispered in her ears by her neighbors. So the number announced by each girl is being given by this line graph, and we know that the neighbors of A are B and F. So what is the number announced by A? For A it is 1. So 1 will be equal to the average of numbers told to A by B and F. So B plus F by 2. I hope this is clear. From this we get an equation that B plus F is equal to 2. This is our first equation. Similarly, if we check the number announced by B, then it is 2, and it will be the average of numbers told by the neighbors of B, which are A and J. So A plus J by 2. So I can write A plus J equal to 4. This is another equation. Then the third equation we have is the number announced by C, which was 7. So 7 will be equal to the average of D and G, because neighbors of C are D and G. So D plus G by 2, which gives me D plus G equal to 14. So this is third equation that we have. Similarly, we can form all the equations. What we have to do is we just have to multiply the number announced by each person, and that will be equal to the sum of number announced by neighbors. So if we form the equation for D, then what is the number announced by D? It is 8. So 2 into 8, that will be the sum of C plus H. So C plus H will be equal to 2 into 8, which means 16. This is another equation that we have. Then for E, what is the number announced by E? It is 5. So 2 times 5, that means 10. That will be equal to the sum of G and I from the table. Similarly, if I form another equation for F, neighbors of F are A and H. So sum of A plus H will be equal to 2 times the number announced by F, which is 10. So 2 times 10 is 20. After that, we write the equation for G over here. The sum of C plus E will be equal to 2 times G. So 2 times G, that means 2 times 6 from the line graph, which will be equal to 12. Similarly for H, D plus F will be equal to 2 times 9. 2 times 9 is 18. Then for I, E plus J will be equal to 2 times I, which is 4. So E plus J gives me 4 into 2, which gives me 8. At last for J, the number announced by J is 3. So 2 times 3 will be sum of B plus I. So B plus I will be equal to 2 times 3, that means 6. So for each and every girl, we have an equation with us. Let me write down these equations properly. So now that I have these equations with me, the first question is, what was the sum of the secret numbers of the 10 girls? So if I notice these equations that I have, I can see that I have B involved in 2 equations, then I have A involved in 2 equations, I have C involved in 2 equations, I have D involved in 2 equations, then I again have E involved in 2 equations, G involved in 2 equations, H involved in 2 equations, I have I also involved in 2 equations, and at last I have J also involved in 2 equations. So that means every alphabet is repeated twice if I add all these equations. So 2 times A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F plus G plus H. This will be equal to sum of all the numbers in the RHS, which will be equal to 2 plus 4 6 plus 30 36 plus 30 66 plus 30 96. 96 plus 14 gives me how much? 110. So I can say that the sum of all these numbers will be half of 110. So half of 110 means 55. So sum of all the secret numbers will be equal to 55. 55 will be the answer to this question. So this was very easy. Let's try to solve the next question now. So the second question is, what was the secret number of C? So we again have these equations over here. We have to find out the value of C by solving these equations. Now I have already told you that whenever the number of variables and the number of equations is same, then it is possible to solve the equations. So we basically have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. We have 10 equations over here, and we have 10 variables involved, A to J. So yes, we can definitely find out the values of all these variables. Let us try to find out the value of C here. Now we have so many equations. How to pick up the right equation to find out the value of C? Whenever we have to find out the value of C, we will always pick up the equations that are related to C. So we have this equation over here, and we have this equation over here. So let me write the equations here. C plus H equal to 16 and C plus E equal to 12. So from the equations of C, if I can eliminate the value of E and H, then I can definitely find out the value of C. So now in the equations related to C, let us check this equation first. C plus E equal to 12. So if I want to eliminate E, let me look for the equations that have E involved. So one of the equations in which E is involved, it is over here, E plus J equal to 8. So if I subtract the second equation from the first one, then I'll be getting C minus J equal to 4. I am getting this when I subtract the equation E plus J equal to 8 from C plus E equal to 12. So when I subtract these, I'll be getting C minus J equal to 4. Then after that, I have this equation, C plus H equal to 16. So I have to eliminate H. Let us see how we can eliminate H from here. If I subtract this equation, A plus H equal to 20 from C plus H equal to 16, I'll be getting C minus A equal to minus 4. So C minus A equal to minus 4. This is what I get. Now I have C minus A equal to minus 4, and I have to eliminate A from here. So let us find out another equation which is involving A. So I have this second equation over here, a plus j equal to 4. So if I add a plus j equal to 4 in this equation, what do I get? If I add these two, I'll be getting c plus j equal to 0. So this is another equation I have. So if I now add these two equations, I'll be getting 2c equal to 4, which will be giving me c equal to 2. So what will be the value of c? It is 2. So secret number of c will be 2. 2 will be the correct answer to this question. So that is how you have to solve the equations. Let us solve the third question now. The third question is, how many girls had negative secret numbers? So to find out whether the secret number of a girl is negative or positive, we'll have to find out the values of each and every alphabet over here using the equations, and then we'll have to check their values. If they are positive or negative, then only we can answer this question. So let me write down the equations over here. So in the previous question, I calculated the value of c, which was 2. Using that, I can calculate the values of lot of variables. So from this, I can find out the value of h. H will be equal to 16 minus 2, which gives me 14. If I have h, I can find out the value of a from this equation. A will be equal to 20 minus 14, which gives me 6. I have the value of c, so I can find out the value of e. E will be equal to 12 minus 2, which gives me 10. Then I have the value of e. I can find out the value of j. J will be equal to 8 minus 10, which gives me minus 2. I have the value of j, so I can only find out the values of these many variables, because now in the first equation we have b and f, and we do not know value of either b or f, so I cannot decide the values of b and f. Then I have a plus j. I already calculated the value of a and j. Then in the next equation we have d plus g equal to 14. I do not know the value of d as well as g. Then we have g plus I equal to 10. So basically we need the value of b, d, f, I, and I also need the value of g over here. So let me start by this equation, d plus g equal to 14. You can basically start with any equations that is available, but I'm starting with this only. So d plus g equal to 14. I need to eliminate g. Then let us look for an equation in g. So we have this equation over here. If I subtract this equation from this equation, then I'll be getting d minus I equal to 4. And after that, I need another equation in I. So let me pick up this equation over here, and let us look for an equation to subtract from this one, so that one variable is cancelled. So if I subtract the first equation from this, I'll be getting I minus f equal to 4. So I minus f will be equal to 4. So now these two equations have value equal to 4. If I add these two equations, I'll be having d minus f equal to 8. So I have equation in d and f which has value 8. I also have an equation here, d plus f equal to 8. So if I add these two now, I'll be getting 2d equal to 26, which will give me d equals to 13. So the value of d will be 13. So if d equal to 13, we can find out g equal to 1 using this equation. So g will be equal to 1. If g equal to 1, I can find out the value of I. I will be equal to 9. Then if I have the value of I can use the last equation to find out b. So b will be equal to 6 minus 9, that means minus 3. Now I only need the value of f, so using this equation, f will be equal to 18 minus d, 18 minus 13, which will give me f equal to 5. So now I have values of each and every alphabet. So let us count how many negatives are there. We have j equal to minus 2. We have b equal to minus 3. So there are only 2 girls having negative secret numbers. So this was again an easy question. Let us try to solve the last question now. The last one is, what is the sum of the secret numbers of d and h? So d was 13, h was 14. So when we sum them up, 13 plus 14 gives me 27. So 27 will be the correct answer to this question. So if you can easily solve the equations, you can solve the whole set. I hope you understood the solution. If there's any doubt, please ask me again. Thank you.